Hello everybody and welcome to episode 57 of the Pod of War Gamescast. I'm your host EOF Gizmo, joined this week by Mr. Chris Pengelly.
Hello everyone.
And, of course, Mr. Xbox Game Award nominee of the year, Craig Warren.
Hello.
Craig's up for future class, I heard.
Craig is over 30, so I don't believe he qualifies any longer. So, next time, before we talk
Not my
about...
present class. Is that
yeah.
past class?
Past it class, yeah.
You're in the veteran category.
I always
God.
class myself as a Masters footballer, if I'm ever asked. So, but anyway,
Yeah.
before we talk
Masters
about
golf.
the Keeleys, let's talk about what we've been playing and buying this week. Let's start, of course, with everyone's favourite goon, Mr. Chris Pengelly. Tell us what you've been up to.
Well, I've only really sort of been playing one game, which is one of my pickups. But I will talk of my other pickups first, which originally was only the two games. But then today I accidentally might have bought a bunch of games.
Bear in mind, there was like 5 last week as well.
Oh yeah.
So,
So
I don't know if you've seen these games on Twitter, Craig, but I will cut the story short. He ain't playing any of them.
Oh, I'm waiting for a treat. Right, okay.
yeah. So out of the original two, which I thought was only going to be two today, and I haven't played, is Tactics Ogre Reborn, which I picked up on Switch.
Oh, that ain't getting played.
Which goes.
How much was that? Get the calculator ready, Dave. How much was that one?
I managed because obviously I had all those points on Simply Games, so I paid £30 for it.
£30 well spent, Pengy. Obviously, before you say any more, we're going to have to put in Act Day no more buying games thing for you, Pengy, because obviously we've got a Secret Santa to do. If you buy every fucking game, there's nothing we can do, is there? So, anyway, carry on.
Yeah.
£30 for a game you won't play. What was next?
Well, I will play it at some point, but it goes
You
to
won't.
Square-
There's,
it goes to-
there's 600 JRPGs that you've bought in the last
And you have said the phrase,
2
I will
months.
play at some point about. We can probably do a supercut that's probably about 30 minutes long, Chris, just this
They're
year.
all published by Square.
That might be
and-
the
It
New
is
Year's Day
published
video.
by
It's the
Square.
supercut of Pengy saying, I'll get to it at some point.
Right, and then today I picked up 5 games.
What was the other game you bought? I believe it's obviously the game you're going to talk about. We might as well just say it, just so you know.
That's God of War Ragnarok on
Yeah.
PS4.
PS4. But yes, what were the other games you bought, Pengy?
Yeah, so Just Dance 2015 for Wii U.
Obviously, goes without saying.
What? I mean, how? So, what was the thought process here, Chris?
It was £2.
Dear Lord.
So that's why, and it
You
goes
get
into the Wii.
a couple of bar of
section.
chocolates for that now.
Yeah, exactly. Cheaper than
Cost of
bar
living
chocolate.
crisis, but it's okay.
I also picked up
Just
for-
Dance, though, Chris. What's your history with the franchise?
Particularly 2015 was a good year, Chris. So what made you go for that
it's
one?
got.
What Taylor
according-
Swift came out then?
No, well, apparently it's got Ariana Grande on it. With
Is that a good thing?
with Break Free?
Is that a musician,
is,
Chris? I'm not familiar with that.
It's got One Direction on it. Oh, all your favourites.
Didn't realise you were a 15-year-old girl, but carry on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Just Dance 2015. I picked that up for my Wii U, going in the Wii U collection.
Okay.
Sticking to the Wii U, I also picked up Skylanders Swap Force,
Crikey.
which came with its Disc of Power, but I have no actual Skylanders.
Disc
for
of
it.
Power?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why didn't you mention that before?
Yeah.
It's not even boxed.
So-
You've let yourself down.
It's not. No, it's not.
What's a
boxed.
Disc of Power, Chris? I'm expecting something exciting right now.
So it's the disc where you put the Skylanders
It's
on.
like
and
the
then
NFT
others.
platform that you put
Yeah.
the toys on.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
expecting more than that.
No.
Yeah. So I picked up Skylanders Swap Force. So
How much
that
was
was
that?
That was £4.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
£36 so far then.
Yeah,
Not
and then-
including God of War, because I imagine God of War was at least 50. Or was it
I think it
45
was
Asda?
47. I think it was.
Okay, we can round that down if you want, Craig. I don't mind. You do what you want.
Yeah. Then I got also for the 3DS Ridge Racer 3D.
Oh, sorry, you didn't say that right. What game did you buy?
Ridge Racer.
There you go. That's better.
You remember that one, don't you,
I
Dave?
do remember that one.
Yeah. So I got that for the 3DS.
Not one of the better versions of Ridge Racer, I'll be honest. It's still a fun game, but it's not one of the better ones.
And you are renowned for playing the handheld, so it's a solid purchase.
Yeah. Yeah. Solid
Wow.
patches.
Kitty's got claws over there.
How much is that one, Thingy?
A fiver.
Okay.
Yeah, and then also for the 3DS, Tenkai Knights Brave Battle. To be honest, I've never even seen this game, but before, so
It's a ringing
It's like,
endorsement.
It's a random 3DS game, so
And how much is that one?
that was £5 as well.
This is money well spent, isn't it?
Oh, you don't want the last one, Craig.
Oh, no.
I think he does.
I might have thought a Vita game.
Yeah.
That was brand new, sealed.
Okay.
That's a visual novel. It was actually a Tomy game, but if you want to be even more specific,
I have no
Craig-
idea what you've just
Craig
said.
wanted you to be specific, so
Yeah.
wow, so it's a brand new
Let's just give us
sealed
the
Tomy
title.
visual collar Cross Malice.
And now let's give
Did
us
you
the
do-
price, Pinky.
£50.
50. Oh, Pinky. Oh, that was more than God of War. Think about that.
50 quid for a visual novel that you will never play.
Well, you're going to leave it sealed, aren't you? So you're never going to play it.
Leave it sealed.
Yeah. So
CX it's 60 used, and the cheapest one on eBay at the moment, again used, is 55. So
love that.
it's don't know how much I would get for it. They had other Vita games, but ones they had, and then they had Muv Love and Muv Love alternate, but they were both American copies. So
Have they got
nah.
a sealed version of Hue?
They do not. They did not have a sealed
No.
version of Hue, and I do not own a sealed version of Hue.
Wow, if you could
I
stop
don't know
spending your money
any
on
version.
everything else, then you could send me a DM and I'll let you know.
Yeah,
I'll
400
get a
quid.
sign for you if you want, Pinky.
Oh, that'd be great.
So how much was Chris's damage then? Before
I
talk
lost
about the
count.
games he played.
It's what? It's 170-ish, I'd say.
And they say that cost of living's gone up. Not for Pengy, it hasn't. So Pengy,
But-
obviously you've all of that crap. You love it, whatever. Talk to us about
Yeah.
God of War, because that's what you've been playing.
I've been playing God
Spoiler
of War.
free, obviously, please.
I am 14 hours into the
Wow.
game. I've only actually got my third trophy for the story trophies, because I've been doing some of the side quests and activity, getting some new armor for Kratos and Atreus and stuff like that. Is all good. Opening is pretty fantastic in it. What were you gonna say, Dave?
I've only got, so I don't want you to talk about it too much yet, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But because we're going to talk about it quite a bit later, I think. But so there's a couple of questions I've got. Question number one: from your 14 hours, is it better than the 14 hours of 2018? Yes and no.
Most probably not. No.
No. Okay, fair enough.
Really?
And second question: obviously, you're quaking in your little boots at the moment. Are you going to go for the platinum?
I'm trying to go for the platinum. Hence why I've done every side quest that I can. I've done so far. I've even activated side quests that I didn't know was side quests. Just wandering around the map, and it's like, oh, I went to so and so, and the head Mio is like, oh, so and so, and it's like, okay, cool. This is going to activate a side quest if we do. This thing, not one that you're even given from other characters in the game. So I'm gonna try. It might be things like get all the ravens, which the first
There's a
one
lot
has.
less in the second one, I'm told.
If I've missed a raven, which I know I have because I haven't got certain items. A bit like a Zelda or something. You need certain items to go back and So that could be a thing if I get to the end and I got 30 of them, trying to work out which ones I'm missing and not missing. That could be a little bit annoying. But apart from that, I'm going to try to go for the platinum.
What do you think makes it worse than the first one?
It's just really sort of more of the same. And obviously the first one was new and different.
It was more impactful. Was that what
It was a
you're saying?
big
Yeah,
step, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, going from what God of War was, God of War 3, and going from that more hack and slash character driven thing to this more narrative driven third person adventure game. And it's it's a great game, but it's not, like you said, Dave has said, it's not impactful as the second
It's a sequel.
time round.
It feels like a sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a problem Sony has at the moment? I don't know. I'm going off topic. I know already, but I think that's something they seem to be doing a lot of at the moment.
I think they do. I think that's a big problem at the minute.
They could almost do with that next wave, like they had when
They
God
need
of
a new
War and
IP
Horizon came out.
so soon.
Yeah.
Like
I
that's
could also like obviously 2020 next year is supposed to be like Spider-Man 2. Like maybe it's gonna have co-op because obviously the trailer had Spider-Man and Miles Spider-Man in it. But I could see that also being the thing. Yeah, it's Spider-Man. It's great, but it's more of the same.
yeah.
Horizon
I
is
think they need Wolverine to be different and be a
yeah.
big hit. I think they need one more IP, and I know there is studios working on IP, and I think it's probably
Mm.
a conversation we will have at some point. I mean, the next week's episode is probably going to be this the delayed episode that we were going to have this week, so we'll probably talk about that more then. But yes, God of War. So that all you
Mm.
played, Pengy? Just been God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, I've just played like the 14 hours of that. It's
Very good, very good. The PS4, how's it coping? Is it exploding
It
yet?
is. It's not too bad. The pro's not bad. It's got like a little bit of a like a sort of hum, but it's not as bad as like the videos you've like
Yeah, I
seen
mean,
in that.
we've talked on this podcast many times about my infamous PS4. It
Yeah.
was pretty horrendous, but yeah, bless you.
Yeah, I guess because it's such a like the newest like you could get in the Pro, I guess like better fans and whatever. The only real thing, like I joked last week, like I could play God of War at 1080p 60 even on my Pro. The 60 frames mode, the sort of thing, is uncapped, so I'm sticking to the 30 frames thing, which is like 1652p. It's a weird number at 30 frames a second, and I would have said if you said me like a year ago, I would have noticed like the difference of being in 1360. Most probably not. But playing a bit of Plague Tale and playing the God of War, and like I said about Bayonetta last week, even though that's trying to hit 60 frames a second, but is all over the place, it is really noticeable. I've like got used to it now, but the first like couple of hours of God of War, I'm like, oh no, I wish it's like, oh no, this 30 frames is not great.
Well, I think it'll probably be the last big PS4 title for you, right? I'd imagine.
Uh,
Because if
maybe.
the next announced one is Final Fantasy, you're gonna buy a PS5 with Final Fantasy, aren't you?
Well, yeah. Well, 16 is
Yeah, that's what I
PS5,
mean.
and
Like that or remake Part 3, Part 2.
yeah,
Yeah, Part 2. Sorry, Crisis
yeah,
Core's thrown
Rebirth.
me. Thrown me
Yeah,
because
you're
that's
thinking
Part
of
minus. That's Part 0.
Yeah. You're thinking of Rebirth, aren't you?
Yeah, that's because they did remake and then they did remake again, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, but like 16 is in the summer, so which is PS5, so most read that. But yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
You don't sound particularly endured with it, the old PlayStation. I'll be honest, Pengy.
as in what?
You don't sound chomping at the bit.
What to get a PS5?
Yeah.
Well, again, because I've had this sort of like conversation, Dave, off topic. Like PlayStation's had a great sort of. We might even get this with the nominees. They've had actually a great year this year if you look on their games on paper, but all being playable on PS4. Looking at next year, Final Fantasy 16 is pretty much it. Because I would think Rebirth, even though they're saying winter next year, as in Crisis Core winter this year, I can see that being like a March 2024 game. So the sort of two games I roughly know a date for are like summer next year and like the year after, most probably, and it's
And
only two
Spider-Man
games.
2 will absolutely be on PS4.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. They're
I
set
just
to
think
PS5 only.
it's the biggest budget, isn't it? I'll be surprised. Well, again, we'll talk about that. I think we'll talk about that because we're going to do a PS5 versus Series S and X 2 years on chat, which will probably be next week. But okay, well, we'll move on for now, Pengy. We'll move on to... what should we do first? Let's do Craigo first. I think Craig's going to be doing quite a lot of talking later. So, Craigo, what have you bought? What have you played this week?
So all I've played is more Plague Tale. I'm now just before we started, I got up to chapter 9, so I'm now at the start of chapter 9. I'm on an island, boys. This one is now. I'm on an island.
We're all on islands, Craig.
Still loving it. I actually think the story's better on this one than it was in the first one. I know when Chris started playing it, he said about how it could go a bit too supernatural too soon. I would say it's so far not done that, which is good. Because the first one at the end went proper like rock and roll, like it went out there, right at the end. And I'm glad that this one has kind of shown some restraint and not gone straight to that. So I think it's probably a better game for trying to stay away from it as long as it can. Still looks amazing. Still is running fairly well. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how many chapters are in it.
17.
There you go. I think it's fairly lengthy, so I'm just over halfway. So, but yeah, very good so far. I do think I haven't looked at the stats, but I'm guessing this is not an easy completion or a doable completion like the first one was.
I think it's because it's got a lot of different collectibles and stuff, hasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if there's some like specific levely ones you've got to do. I know it does have chapter select, so that might make it a little bit easier. But the only achievements I've got so far is basically complete chapter 1, complete chapter 2. I haven't got anything extra yet. I mean, I've not been following any guides or anything or any missable achievement guides just because I wanted to be as blind as possible. And I know it's got chapter select, so it might be doable. But the first one was quite easy. I feel it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult.
Lovely. Is that what you've been playing, Craigo? Well, I presume
yeah, that's it for me. No, God, no, don't be silly.
It's the wrong time of year for Craigo to purchase some games. Lovely. Well, we'll move on to me then. I've purchased just the one game. I've actually been on minus games. I've sold quite a lot of games this month. But in terms of games bought, I have bought for £12 sterling, Craigo. A game that came out this year. And I bought it brand new on PS5, and that was Saints Row.
Wow.
Because I said if it got to a point and I would buy it, it got to the point I'm going to buy it. There's a big patch in November. We'll see if it's as bad by the time I get to it as it is regarded at launch. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't turn a game like that down for 12 quid. But that's the only thing I've bought. So we'll see. Obviously, we'll talk about it later because we're talking about games of the year. So we'll bring that up later. In terms of play, let's start on Xbox. So on Xbox, the only thing I've played is me and my partner have continued our sort of road to 100% of Lego Incredibles. Main story's done now. We're just getting through grinding, doing all the collectibles, doing all the side quests, doing all the races. I think we're about 60% through now. She really wants to get the 100% on it, so that's what we're trying to do at the moment. It's not too bad. I think for a partner game, it's pretty good. There is some weird stuff that's got like 2% achievements on, but I don't think it's too hard. But yeah, that's the only Xbox game. Nothing on Game Pass still. I just can't bring myself to drag myself away from my PlayStation, Craig, if I'm honest with you. I hate to say it because I know it upsets you when I say it, but I do kind of prefer my PlayStation at the moment. Other than that, I am so close to the Onrush Platinum. Now I've got 2 of the 3 online trophies I needed last night. So I've got 1 more online only trophy to get, and then the finish everything in the single player online offline trophy, and then it's done. Then I have the platinum, the 0.7% platinum. So we're getting there with that. And the only other game I've played on PlayStation is a Chris Pengelly certified game of the year it came out, and that is, of course, Foxyland 2.
Oh, nice.
Which was actually a lot harder than I was expecting it to be, Pengy, I'll be honest with you. A lot harder than I was expecting it to be. It took me about 2 hours. I was like, well, I was expecting. Now, Pengel sold this to me as a 20-minute game, and it took me 2 hours, so who is the fool?
Pengels is a pro gamer, though, so...
It's true. It was hard. It's a boss fight that's really hard. I had to look it up. I was like, what's wrong with it? It's a Ratalika game. I'm looking it up. But
yeah, you're talking about like I haven't like bought because I don't want to get the easy platinum. But like Save Room came out this like week on PS4, and they're like, I kind of want to. It's actually a Ratalika game I actually kind of want to play, not just because
crazy
of the easy platinum.
Is that trophies and achievements have got so bad that Ratalika is nowhere near the basement anymore. Like. The ones that I don't know if these are on Xbox. Craig might know, but on PlayStation there's a series that is like an animal and then a letter, right? So it's Chick C, and you just hold R1 for 10 seconds, you get the platinum. This week is Stroke the animal has come out this week, Craig. There was Stroke the tortoise, Stroke the dog, Stroke the hamster, and it's like a black background, like Comic Sans, Stroke the dog, and then like a bad Photoshop of a dog.
And you got like the jumping burrito games and stuff as well.
Which is obviously Pengels' series of the year.
It won a code for that.
Okay, but it's one of those things like it's not even like say Foxyland 2 is an actual video game someone's actually made, and you can play it beyond the trophies. Like it's an actual game, right? It's an actual video game, and it's like these other ones are so bad now. Like I think honestly, I genuinely think that me and Pengy could sit here for like a 10-hour stream and get 100 platinums easily now. Each.
Yeah, but they're not even trying to be a game. It's bizarre, isn't it?
And I don't know why they're allowed on the store. Like I get it that it's a whole like you got to have some level of like control, haven't you?
Yeah, I
But
guess it's they just don't want the money and the infrastructure to regulate it. That's the only
yeah,
thing I
which
can
is
imagine.
frustrating, but it's one of those. But I will never stoop that low. Don't worry. But yeah, I
No,
think
but
that
that save room from Ratalica is like I do kind of actually want to play that. So
yeah, I think for me like so Foxland 2 is the last Rat League game I'm planning to play. I think it's the last one I own actually. I think there might be a Vita version of it which I'll play later, like post 50. But that takes me to 46 platinums now. So obviously I want on Rush to ideally be 47. Then probably a Wolf Among Us on Vita will be 48. And I need to think of one more before I do Jedi Fallen Order. But the 50 for this year should be on, and then I think next year we're gonna do. So we're probably not going to do the backlog challenge next year. We're spitballing this live on air, boys and girls, but probably not going to do the backlog challenge next year. So it just hasn't worked this year. So I think next year might be the achievement slash trophy goals instead, where we each.
I'm gonna be like, yeah, but Nintendo don't have them.
That you won't be into Nintendo next year. You'll have moved on. You will have moved on to Steam
uh,
or something next year.
Fire Emblem Engage is January.
Yeah, but Chris, how many games a year do you play?
Kirby is in February.
How many games a year do you play?
Hundreds.
So you're fine. You'll be alright, mate. You'll figure it out. But yeah. So we'll probably do a achievement score we want to hit, or a trophy score we want to hit, or both. But we'll do that next year. It's still 2022. Let's not bother. But yeah, that's it for me. As for Chris's talk about God of War, I'm also planning to play the first God of War, or God of War 2018, to get the platinum before I buy Ragnarok. And there is no way I can go back to 30 frames a second. I don't know how you even do it, to be honest with you, because
I was going to
that's
say
at 60 on PS5 and it's unreal.
I noticed it really heavily in Plague Tale, Requiem, and then obviously I mentioned Bayonettas, and then obviously I tried to play God of War in the performance mode, and it's like, oh no, I can't be doing with the uncapped frame rate. I was going to play on the 30. Did you notice the frame, like, have an issue with the frame rate or anything with Plague Tale Cray being 30?
I didn't. It's noticeable, but because of the sort of game it is, it's not really an issue. But I do get what you mean with God of War, with the sort of combat in that game. Like if Plague Tale had God of War combat, then yeah, I think it would be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's the frame rate obviously isn't 60, and it's noticeably not 60.
Mm.
But yeah, I think because it's not that sort of game, it kind of gets away with it a bit more.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, even though I'd say that I've played things like Diofield on the Switch, which is 30 frames, but because I guess it's a top-down strategy
Yeah,
game, I never
Yeah, it's
took
not
any
quick.
notice.
Yeah, it's not quick,
I
is
never
it?
took any notice of it.
it's
So
like
it's not like
tribal strategy is probably 30, but you're never going to notice it
Yeah.
on
As
yeah, I
long
was
as
gonna
it's,
say
as long
I've
as it's
played
smooth,
tons
you're
of.
fine.
Yeah, there's gonna be like Pokemon's gonna run at like 12 frames a second in hell.
I mean, that's why I think people kicked off about Gotham Knights so much. Because I mean, as someone who plays primarily on either a Series X or a PS5, I could not imagine having to pick a 30 frames mode. Like, I think it would be. Honestly, I think I'm so spoiled now that if I tried, I'd be like, oh, what is this crap? Like, what is wrong with my TV? What is wrong with the game? Like, what is going on? Because like, once you play those games, like I'm so excited to play Jedi Fallen Order again. Now I know it's going to be 60. Like, there's no way I could go back to playing that at 30. No way.
Yeah. And then it's like no, like there's no even way like around it because like I'm saying there's like this uncapped frame rate sort of mode on God of War on the Pro, but the Pro doesn't have VRR, and obviously my TV doesn't have either, so it's not like there's even a fix like that way, for instance.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. I think when you finally re-upgrade to PS5, I don't think you'll find it as easy to go back down to the pauper level. But anyway, enough of that talk. Let's get to the topic of the show. Tots. So of course the Keelys nominations were announced this week. Well, that's very earlier today, in fact. So we're going to go through them. So Pengy, do you have a list?
I have the sort of list, and I believe Craig also has the list in front of him.
I have a partial list for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay, well, let's begin at the beginning, Pengy. Obviously we've curated with you which ones we want to talk about. So let's start with the first one you want to talk about.
Well, we scrapped all the esports one, so I'm working backwards, so we'll get to the big one at the end. So the first one would be most anticipated game for obviously, I presume next year, but obviously these may even get delayed beyond that. So you got Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Starfield, and Tears of the Kingdom
Okay.
is up for these.
So we'll talk about what we think should win, and then we'll talk about what will win. Is that a fair way to do it?
Yeah, sure. I don't know if anyone can keep score. So
I'll
when
write
we
them
do,
down. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
Craig can
Yeah,
listen to
especially-
it again if he has to.
Yeah, I mean, I kicked ass last year, so I want to,
Yeah,
defend
yeah.
my crown now.
Okay, well, as you kicked ass last year, Craig, you can go first.
I mean, this is basically the Legend of Zelda award, isn't it, at this point, I believe.
Yeah.
Although when Chris was like Tears of the Kingdom, I'm so used to everyone just being like Breath of the Wild 2. I was like, what the hell is he talking about? What's Tears of the Kingdom? But I mean, I think this is clear and obvious favorite. I don't see anything else. Hogwarts Legacy's got no chance at all, is it? Starfield's got no chance. I mean, it's Tears of the Kingdom. It's obvious. It's got to be.
Okay, Pengy.
I voted obviously for Final Fantasy 16 because that's my most anticipated game, but it will be Tears of the Kingdom.
God, so you guys are sheep, so I'm gonna be exciting here. So I think it should be Starfield.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
actually, no. Resident Evil 4 would be mine out of those.
I think I think what it should be Starfield, and I think it is going to be Starfield because I think there's more questions about it, so I think that adds to the anticipation. And I think, to be honest with you, I don't know. I just don't feel like people. This is absolutely me screaming into an echo chamber, but I just don't feel like people get that excited for Switch stuff at the moment.
You say that,
Switch games just seem to come out,
yeah.
review well, sell well, and then I don't hear about them ever again.
You say that, but obviously how the votes are weighted, 90% is jury, 10% is public. So obviously the public could all go for Starfield, but obviously Breath of the Wild is the best game ever made, and all the jury will mostly go Tears of the Kingdom because it's the sequel to the best game ever.
Maybe.
made.
I mean, I think it depends who. I think, have we had the industry reset yet? Probably not. So you're probably right. But I'm just, to be interesting, I'm going to say Starfield.
Yeah.
Okay, Penguin, next one.
Right, I would skip the next one, Pengy, and go to
Yeah,
best debut
'cause-
indie.
So best debut indie, we have Neon White, which is a bit weird because obviously Ben Esposito was behind it, who did Donut County. So I don't really know how that's got in best.
I'm guessing he's claiming he's
Angel-
renamed his studio or something.
Is Angel
As
Matrix?
someone who knows people that work quite high up in independent games, I know for a fact my friend that's released many video games that have done quite well has about 20 studios because because that's how they get funding. They start a new studio, you get more funding. So yeah. Anyway, carry on.
Then you got Norco, Stray, Tunic, and Vampire Survivors.
Craig, go again. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a really hard one to pick from that, I feel. I mean, I don't think Vampire Survivors has any chance, or Norco. I mean, in theory, Stray should win because, as we'll get to later, that's been nominated for bigger and higher up awards.
Somehow.
Yeah, somehow, which again we'll get to, I'm sure. So I feel like if you don't say Stray, you're almost mugging yourself off. It'd be nice to see like Tunic or Neon White win, but I'll say Stray. I'll be safe.
Yeah, so I voted for Neon White, but I think it will be Stray out of these. Everyone loves that cat.
So obviously I haven't played any of these games because I'm not an absolute loser like you two.
I haven't played any of them either, in fairness.
I've played 2 of them.
That's nuts. That is the ringing indictment, by the way, of how bad an indie nomination is. If Pengy's only played 2 of the 5,
Yeah.
I'm going to say Tunic. People love that fox.
Yeah, I feel like for me it's either Stray or Tunic. I think you could have something there, maybe Dave, but yeah, it's a tough one to pick that one.
Nothing, not even real games, are they? So
Yeah. I'm guessing we're skipping
Yes.
content creator.
Yes.
that is Pod of War that won that this year. So thank you everyone for the nominations.
Yeah.
So we'll go to best multiplayer then, which is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Multiverse, Overwatch 2, Splatoon 3, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge.
So,
Strange one.
yeah, it's an odd category. Weirdly, I feel like the two that I've seen, like personally, people be most positive about is Multiverses, which definitely won't win, and Shredder's Revenge, which I probably won't win either.
Mm.
I mean, a Call of Duty winning would be quite banter, but I can't imagine it's going to happen. I can't imagine Overwatch. I think it's going to be Splatoon 3, even though I feel like that game. I mean, I'm sure it's not died. I'm sure there's like millions of people in Japan playing it, but even Penguins seems to have given up on that. But yeah, I'm going to go Splatoon 3.
Pengy.
I got a feeling it'd be Overwatch 2.
The first one did win Game of the Year, didn't it, when it came out, I believe?
Yeah. And obviously, it's like, was it 35 million people have played Overwatch 2 and stuff? Again, that doesn't really affect here because it's the jury.
So have we, Pengy, because it's just it just uploaded our Overwatch 1 saves. I've got 30% of the trophies in this game. Apparently, I've never played it.
Nice. So yeah, I don't I don't know how the jury would go, but I just Multiverse. I'm just not sure. Can't see any of the others really doing it. Dave?
Okay, well, obviously I'm not a sheep, so I think it's all part of the conspiracy, boys. So I think all of the Sony ponies are going to vote for Call of Duty to win, so they can prove to the CMA that Call of Duty is essential to Sony, and thus Microsoft can't buy them. So I think COD will win because of it.
Dave's got the tinfoil hat on, and I love
it. Right. Next, we've got Best Sports and Racing, which has got F1 2022, FIFA 23, NBA 2K23, Gran Turismo 7, and Ollie Ollie World.
Again, this is actually really difficult because, like last year, this was really obvious. It's always going to be Forza. The obvious thing is just to say Gran Turismo because, like Dave said, the ponies. But I feel like when Gran Turismo first came out, everyone was quite positive about it. But as that game's kind of gone on, it seems to be more and more negative. So I feel like it could not end up being Gran Turismo. I can't see F1, FIFA. I can weirdly see it ending up being Ollie Ollie World, which is bizarre because I feel like not a lot of people have played it. But I feel like people are just going to pick that to kind of be different. I can't imagine the sort of people who log in to vote on the Game Awards probably aren't going to vote for like FIFA. I can't see that happening at all. So yeah, I'm going to go Ollie Ollie World.
Well, clearly this is wrong because Football Manager 2023 is not here, and
F1
football and F1 Manager.
Would that be on Sim though? Could be on Sim,
they might
boys.
be in a Sim. I don't know, but I'm also going to think it's the same as Craig because again, the public vote's only 10%. So even if you're saying people not logging in, but I'm thinking, let's say everyone comes in, logs in, and votes for FIFA. That's only 10% of the vote, and I can't see the IGNs and stuff really voting for FIFA. So I'm going to go for Ollie Ollie World.
Okay, so I think it will be Gran Turismo because all the reviewers gave it they give it 87, so they have to back up their own thing, right?
So I don't know, David. You remember last year with Forza? Let's not. Yeah,
no, don't. So that's what my brain tells me. My heart tells me that it's going to be FIFA this year, because a lot more Americans have been talking about FIFA this year because of Ted Lasso. And I feel like FIFA, if you don't play it every year, if you play it every 3 years, it's quite a great game. So I'm going to go with FIFA.
It'd be the last FIFA 23 by EA, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because
before it becomes EA Sports Football,
Soccer with the women's leagues and all that good stuff.
Interesting. I like it.
Then we come to Best Sim and Strategy, which is no F1 or Football Manager, because the ones up here is Dune Spice Wars, Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hopes, Total Warhammer 3, 2 Point Campers, and Victoria 3.
How is Mario Rabbids a simulation game?
Because I guess sim/strategy, isn't it?
Okay, I was going to say, because it's not, unless you're simulating being Mario in a Rabbids world. And every game could be a simulation game, can't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's between two. I think it's either going to be Total War or 2 Point Campus. Obviously, both reviewed very well. I mean, Total War came out right at the start of the year, I think. So that could come against it because obviously people might have forgotten about it. But I feel like that game reviewed ridiculously well. I think Dave had that in fantasy and it got him a lot of points, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I'm gonna go what I think is the safest option and go for Warhammer 3 Total War. I've said that backwards just to be,
I think it'll also be Total Warhammer 3.
Obviously, it's been a good year for Sega because 2 of those games, Sega games, obviously they also did for Warhammer.
I think this is the Sega category, to be fair.
So for me, I'm going to pick the winner, which will be 2 Point Campus.
Nice. So anyway, we're thinking Sega's taking it home there.
Sega is the best publisher. Fact.
Yes. And then we get to the best family, aka best Nintendo game.
Well, you say that, Chris.
Yeah, because available
last year it was It Takes Two, wasn't it? It was,
yeah. And here is Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Nintendo Switch Sports, and Splatoon 3.
So there's no way Nintendo Switch Sports wins this. I cannot see that happening. Or Sparks of Hope. I don't think Splatoon. I think it's between Kirby and Lego Star Wars. Personally, I think is this the only award that Kirby's in for? I believe it is. That might help it. But I'm going to go for Lego Star Wars. I feel that was quite a big, highly anticipated game, and it delivered pretty well from the sound of it. I've not played it. I still want to go back and play it, but those Lego games they're never ending, as Dave's finding out now, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm going to go Lego Star Wars because I feel like they did enough. They actually changed it quite a bit, didn't they? So probably if there's a time for a Lego game to win this, it's probably that one.
Nice. Well, I personally voted for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, but I think it would actually be Splatoon 3.
Okay, well, I think it's going to be a Nintendo game. Again, the heart probably says Sparks of Hope because the industry really like that studio and they love that story, but I think people will remember that they played Kirby and it will be Kirby.
Interesting. I think that's the first one we've all gone different on.
Well, I'm not a sheep like you two, so I've been different every time, but carry on.
Yeah. Then we get to best fighting game, which has got DNF Duel in it, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R, King of Fighters 15, Multiverse, and some weirdly Sifu.
Yeah, that's an interesting category right there, isn't it?
Yeah, because the other four, I fight fighting games, and then you got Sifu in here,
which you do fighting in. So
you do fighting in, but you do fighting in lots of things. So yeah.
I mean, I feel like if this was just some people have played and talked about, I'd say Sifu, but I feel like people won't vote for it because they'd be similar to us and be like, doesn't really belong there. Which leaves you with the other four. This could literally just be me closing my eyes, I feel, and just pointing at something. I don't think DNF Duel will win it. I don't. God, it could be King of Fighters. That game spited me before because I counter-picked it and it did better than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to go for King of Fighters just because that game's already spited me. And if I don't pick it and it wins, I'll be annoyed.
But I'm going for Sifu, even though it makes no sense being here. But I also think that's why it's most probably here, because they most probably wanted to get Sifu in some way, want to give it an award some way, and this is the award they're going to give it. So, Sifu.
Obviously, I'm going to go for Multiverses. That's
sponsorship
money, buddy. That's sponsorship money.
DNF Duel's most probably the best.
That's the best game.
Best game there, but it won't.
No.
Yeah.
Not unless you weebs are there, Craig. Looking at you.
Yeah. Then we get to the almost Nintendo category. It's Best RPG, which has Elden Ring in it, Live Live, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Triangle Strategy, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So we have 4.
It's cute
Switch
that you
console...
read out every single game when you should have just read the first one out.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this now. If Pokemon Legends Arceus wins this, then fuck this podcast. We're doing something else, boys.
You're buying if Pokemon Legends wins this, you're selling your Xbox and buying a PS5.
I mean, Triangle Strategy should win this because it's a great game. Also, Triangle Strategy wasn't in Best Strategy Game.
No, it makes no sense.
It's not
but
clear.
yeah.
It's not clear what type of game it is from the name, is it? So
That's only just hit me. That's insane. That's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be Elden Ring, and it's not sugarcoat it. So yeah, I'll go Elden Ring.
I will also go Elden Ring, but I voted for Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
and it will be a full house. I will also go Elden Ring.
Then we get to Best Action Adventure, which has A Plague Tale Requiem, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Tunic in it. Craigie?
Right. So, I mean, there's an obvious winner here, I feel. And it's obviously Stray, right, boys?
Yeah, what's the most action adventure game of the year? Stray.
Yeah, a lot of action in that game, I'd imagine.
So much adventure.
I mean, it's not going to be Stray. It's not going to be Tunic. I'd love to say Plague Tale, but it's not going to be that, is it? It's going to be God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, it's God of War Ragnarok.
Just want to pour one out yet again to the poor Horizon team that keep making games that come out the same year as the best ever games ever that are similar. So let's pour one out for them, but it will be God of War. Yeah.
Then we get to Best Action Game, which is Bayonetta 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Neon White, Sifu is here again, though category it makes sense for, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Craigie?
So the weird thing about this.
Yeah.
So Dave, the explanation for this Best Action Game. For the best game in the action genre, focus primarily on combat.
Obviously, that's Call of Duty, isn't it? That's what you've just described.
Surely that's Elden Ring if it's going to be nominated for everything else.
I think we have this discussion every year.
Surely.
They haven't got a clue what they're doing, have they? With naming.
I don't understand how that cannot
Because
be.
it's an RPG, but then Sifu's also somehow a fighting game.
Exactly. If Sifu can be in too.
And what's different between action and action adventure?
Well, I guess action adventure you says something about like puzzles and traversal and stuff like that. Where I guess these you just like Call of Duty, you go forward, you shoot things.
Yeah,
Life's a puzzle, Pengy.
I kind of get that. The fact that Elden Ring's not in this is crazy. Obviously, I don't care because I've not played it. I'll never play it. I think. I believe this is the only award that Bayonetta is in for, and they're going to want to give Bayonetta an A award. So I feel like it's fairly safe to say that Bayonetta will win this.
I voted for personally Bayonetta 3, and it will be Bayonetta 3. Davey?
I think it will be Shredder's Revenge. Keeps getting nominated by someone, so.
Yeah. Next is Best VR, which I guess you want to skip.
Yeah, fuck that.
Moss will win, and that's what. So there you go. Then we got Accessibility, which I guess you also want to skip.
Yeah.
With God of War, we'll most really win that, to be honest. Because even as soon as you turn the game on, it comes up with like, what accessibility options do you want? And it comes up with like 3 menus with tons of different options and stuff like that. And like I have no idea what Return of the Monkey Island's got. And I played the Quarry and I can't tell you what that's got. But God of War, I can tell you there's tons of stuff in it. So
best community sport we'll skip as well. Best mobile game we'll skip. There we go. Best indie. Next one we do.
Best indie. So you've got Cult of the Lamb, Neon White.
Best indie earlier?
That was best debut indie.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you got Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, and Tunic. Craigie?
So, I mean, I've already moaned to the boys about this. But how on earth Immortality is not nominated for this is just madness. I'm almost tempted to say Immortality out of protest because it's just insane.
You know when they have the player's voice one, you're just going to have to put Immortality in that.
Oh, it's just,
you remember
I don't
last year
understand.
Halo Infinite one player's voice? Even though
Yeah.
it was still in like the beta or whatever at the time.
Yeah, I don't understand. It reviewed well, it's amazing, and yeah, nothing. So using my logic from earlier, I should say Stray, right, boys? That's what I should say. Because if it's nominated for game of the year and it's nominated for this, in theory, it should win this. I'm going to say Cult of the Lamb, though. I feel like that game had the biggest kind of splash, and people talked about it for longer and more. Things like Neon White kind of came and went. Even a Nintendo diehard, Pengy only briefly spoke about that. Sort of the same with Tunic, so I'm going to go with Cult of the Lamb.
I personally voted for Neon White, but it will be Stray.
Okay, I'm going to go for the only game that I have got on pre-order right now, and that is Cult of the Lamb.
Nice. I guess skip best thing ongoing.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Games for Impact. Yeah, it's Craig's favourite award. So
Hell yeah.
So we have here a Memoir Blue, a Dusk Falls, Citizen Sleeper, Ending Extinction is Forever, Hindsight, and I Was a Teenage Exocolonist.
I feel like this is similar to last year, but I hadn't even heard of like some of these games. I have no idea what Citizen Sleeper, Ending Extinction is Forever, or I Was a Teenage.
Citizen Sleeper is on the Game Pass, and I think I can't remember, but like one of the slightly big sites loved it when it came out, and I feel it's a bit like, is it that faster and then light game FTL or something like that, where you got the ship and you've got like
I
know what you're talking about.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Anyway.
I mean, there's not a lot here that I'd even heard of. I mean, a Memoir Blue getting a nomination is interesting. I would say it's a bad game, but I'm not sure it's a game that should be getting nominated for a Game of the Year award. I'm gonna go for. I mean, I don't know what As Dusk Falls does for Games for Impact. No, I don't really know what the criteria is, in all honesty. I'm gonna go for As Dusk Falls just because I feel like it's the most gamey game there, and it is a good game. It probably does deserve some sort of award or nomination. So yeah, As Dusk Falls.
So this year, I've normally played like most of the games in this award. Like last year, I played Life is Strange, True Colors, and I played No Home or whatever it was called. But this year, I've only actually played two of them, and that's a Memoir Blue and a Dust Falls, and I voted for a Memoir Blue. But I honestly think it might actually be Endling Extinction is Forever that might win this.
So, I actually don't care if it costs me the win. I'm abstaining from voting for this because it shouldn't be a category. What are these games? A Memoir Blue, isn't it like a 10-minute fucking platinum or some crap?
It's about an hour long, and it's quite an easy.
It's all crap.
Platinum.
It's all rubbish.
It's not bad, but yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you're saying.
The thing is, obviously, I've played Memoir Blue and it does fall. I've Citizen Sleeper, I have no interest in playing, but the other three, Ending Extinction, Hindsight, and I Was a Teenage Ex-Colonist, I would like to play. But I remember when Hindsight dropped on Switch. It's a Switch like console exclusive for another part. It's like 20 quid, and I think I Was a Teenage Exes, saw that was like 25 quid on Steam. Ending Extinction has got a physical version now, and I think it's like £30.
It doesn't justify it at all. We'll go with Dust Falls. We'll go with Dust Falls because it's on Game Pass. There you go.
Alright, okay, I'm changing you. I put Void, but I'll put you as Dust Falls.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass, so whatever.
I think it's the biggest game there, and I know quite a few people liked it, so.
Yeah, it's trying to be a game as well.
Let's move on to real categories about real games.
Then we got Best Performance. So
I said real category here. What?
So we have Ashley Birch for Horizon Forbidden West. We have Charlotte McBurney for A Plague Tale Requiem. Christopher Judge for God of War Ragnarok. Manon Cage for Immortality. And Sonny Schulich for God of War Ragnarok as well.
I'm just disappointed straight away that the names are quite tame, because I feel like last year Chris had an absolute wobbly trying to pronounce all the names that were in there. So I feel like there's a lot of French names in there last year. I mean,
last year Maggie Robson won, didn't she, for Lady Dimitrescu?
Yeah, even though that's probably not like, it's probably more the character than the performance of that, which maybe should.
You don't say.
Maybe should kind of sway our votes here. However, I'm voting from the girl from Immortality just because she's brilliant in that, and given the sort of game that is, it deserves definitely to be the performance because you can tell a lot of effort went into that. So yeah, I'll go for Manon Gage.
Yeah, I was like when before these came out, I thought, oh, this is going to be a two-horse race between Christopher Judge and Ashley Birch. And then when you had saw the five, I thought, oh, actually, this is um quite a hard one to pick. I went for Ashley Birch, like for Aloy and Horizon, but I think Craig is right. The woman from Immortality will win. This will be the the award that game gets.
So am I putting Ashley Birch or
No,
Manon Gage?
you're putting Manon Cage.
Okay.
No, obviously, I was disappointed to find that the cat from Stray was not in this. That was the performance I would have voted for. Or Riley from Call of Duty Ghosts, the dog. But so instead,
the cat should have been nominated because that cat did, like is
I know the mocap that cat did. It's a real powerhouse in the industry. So I'm going to go with Christopher Judge because he's got a good voice.
Mm. Then we get to Best Audio Design, which is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Forbidden West. Craigie?
Okay. Again, this was one that last year I think was really obvious because Forza was nominated, and I'm pretty sure it won. I can't imagine it's going to be Gran Turismo. I can't imagine it's going to be Call of Duty.
But this doesn't sound so good.
Do they? Do they sound good?
I don't know.
No, I don't. This is a toss-up, isn't it? I've not heard anyone be like, "Oh God, the sound design in any of these games is just incredible." I'm gonna say God of War Ragnarok, just because I don't think it's gonna win the big one. Spoiler alert, but they might want to give it some other stuff. So yeah, I'll go God of War.
I voted personally, and I'm going for God of War in this.
Well, I was sad to see that Just Dance 23 didn't make the cut. Would have been the one I went for, so I'll go with God of War.
You can see Just Dance 23 is a digital-only title.
Well, what a shame. Obviously. You would have bought it otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
We've lost money there. We've lost sales.
Then we get to Best Score and Music, which we have A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok. Because this is that sound design. So like I said about the gun and the cars going brum brum. This is actual music. Metal Hellsinger and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
So what should happen here is Metal Hellsinger should win this because that entire game is built around the music in it, and they've gone to quite a lot of lengths of getting quite a lot of like big name metal singers involved in that. And like I said, the whole game is built around the better you do, the more of the song plays. So that's what should win.
But what will win?
I'm going to assume that Xenoblade has some trendy Japanese composer who no one can even say their name. And if we know games journalism, they're going to go for a trendy Japanese composer. But I'm going to go for Metal Hellsinger just because I feel like strongly enough that should win. Even though I've not played it, but I just feel like the lengths they went to there deserves an award.
Not on Game Pass.
It is, yeah. I want to go back and play it, but there's just too much coming out on Game Pass at the moment. It's just, it's hard to keep up, Angus.
Yeah, sure. Well, I personally voted for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 because the soundtrack is absolutely fantastic on that.
A trendy Japanese composer.
Right. And God of War Ragnarok, I played 14 hours of. I could not really tell you like any great music, in that game. And same with Plague Tale Requiem from what I played. And obviously, I've not played Elden Ring and I've not played Metal Hellsinger. I'm really disappointed. Bayonetta's not up on here because Bayonetta has some great tracks, but yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
It will be Metal Hellsinger.
Then we get to Best Art Direction. So we have Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Scorn, and then Stray.
I love that they've nominated Scorn for this. I'm so surprised that that's in there. I'm surprised that I feel like Plague Tale should have been in this. That's a very pretty game. I feel like it probably deserves to be in it more than like Scorn or Stray, personally. I mean, in terms of art, I think God of War and Horizon probably are the best like graphical games, I'd imagine. But everyone likes that kind of like dark gothic Elden Ring. I don't even know what's the guy called that makes these games. Mrs. something.
Miyakase.
Is that how you pronounce it, Dave?
It's Miyazaki.
Yeah,
But
Miyazaki.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds bad. Everyone loves this kind of weird gothic thing, don't they? So I'm gonna go Elden Ring.
Personally, I voted for God of War Ragnarok, but I actually do think it will be Scorn.
I think it will be God of War.
Good. Then we got Best Narrative, which is Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, and Immortality. Craigie,
So, I mean,
what has
I've
the
not
best
heard.
story?
Yeah, I've not heard a lot of people saying, um, Elden Ring has a lot of narrative development in a game, which is what it says here for the
Mm.
category.
But
I
the
mean,
narrative of the Souls games is told by, through the game's, atmosphere and bosses and, lore you pick up and all that. And obviously this is done by uh, Game of Thrones guy.
yeah. Although, I mean, I don't know how involved he really was, or if he was just just there as a name. I mean, the narrative in the Plague Tale is very good. But people love this God of War story with the sun, don't they? They really like that. I mean, Immortality should win it. I'm gonna go Immortality just because it should win it. God of War will win it, but Immortality should win it, so I'm gonna say that.
I personally went for God of War Ragnarok, and I think it will be God of War Ragnarok.
God of War Ragnarok.
Then we got Best Game Direction. So we have Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Immortality, and Stray.
So,
Mm.
so I'm trying to write and keep up here. It's a lot. Best game direction awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design.
Mm. So this is I don't think he actually was the director, but this is obviously where Corey Barlog would come up and get his award for God of War, for instance. Or
Yeah,
Mia
I
Cassie would come up
think
for his Elden Ring one.
did Deathloop win this last year? I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so I'm guessing, it's all about doing something different. Does Elden Ring do anything different? I don't know. God of War, you've already said Pengy it doesn't. Horizon didn't. Immortality kind of does, I guess. Stray, I mean, I don't know what the creative vision and innovation is in Stray other than you're a cat. I'm really not sure how or why that's there. Um, I mean, I'm going to go for Elden Ring. I feel like Immortality should just because it actually does something different. Um, in a way that I think like 12 minutes, I believe, was nominated for this last year, and that did something different. But I'm gonna go Elden Ring just to be safe.
Oh, well, I voted for God of War, but I actually think it might be Immortality because they can get Sam Barlow up on stage.
It'll be Elden Ring.
Well, and then
What
they
did
can get
you
me.
actually say, Pengy? So what was your actual vote? Sorry.
I voted, yeah. So Immortality, I'm thinking.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Again, I guess with Dave, they could get me and Cassie up on the stage with Jeff. Jeff will love that, won't he?
Yeah,
So,
especially if you
What
keep
was
pronouncing his name.
Dave? Sorry, Elden Ring. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Then we got the final category, Game of the Year. This has got A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Right. So it's between two, isn't it? It's between two, and those two are A Plague Tale and Stray, obviously. Um, it's about whether you like rats or cats, really, isn't it? That's all it is.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's obviously going to be either Elden Ring or God of War. I feel like Elden Ring because the people that love those games are like they're obsessed with those things, aren't they? They'll do anything to vote for those games. So yeah, I'll go Elden Ring.
I think it also will be Elden Ring.
God, it's a terrible choice, isn't it? Because it is going to be one of the two. So, I mean, I suspect. I mean, it's going to be Elden Ring, isn't it? right?
Yeah.
It's got to be Elden Ring. So Elden Ring.
I'm pretty sure we all got this wrong last year.
Yeah, because it's Take-Two one last year.
Yeah, and no, I'm sure none of us had that. So
No, I can't remember what was nominated last year.
I know Deathloop was, because I think I went for Deathloop because I thought they'd be like different and weird.
But obviously not.
No. Oh, well, they were as well. It Takes Two, I suppose, is different and weird, isn't it? This is where Stray wins now, boys. What a moment that would be.
It's just anything that isn't an Xbox game, right? That's their rules.
Yeah.
Which is by that logic, God of War win.
Nah, but I think it will be out. I think God of War and Horizon may split the sort of votes. I think Stray's only there because mostly to make up the numbers, they have 6, and it's like, even though it hasn't won best indie game yet, but it's mostly there as the indie representative, in this category, and they got to give Nintendo something, so you get Xenoblade Chronicles free here. But yeah, it's between Elden Ring and God of War. And I think God of War in, the narrative or whatever, and then the Elden Ring wins the big one, so...
Well, that is the Game Awards. Obviously, it's not the ones that matter. The ones that matter, of course, are the Pod of War Game of Year awards, which we'll do at the end of the year instead of not quite the end of the year. So there's still games that have got to come out, haven't they, right, Pengy? So...
And you'll still have, obviously, all the trailers and stuff where, Kojima come out on stage and show us Death Stranding 2.
Basically, the only reason that people watch that show is for game announcements. And
we'll get a date for Final Fantasy 16 because it's going to get dated sometime this year.
The Forza Horizon DLC.
DLC shown. I'm just trying to think. I'm just thinking if Nintendo will show anything.
So I suppose the last thing we'll predict then, because this is the Hail Mary. This is what I like to call 2 points. This is what this prediction is called because you got to pull out of nowhere. Craig, predict something. Predict a trailer.
Predict the trailer?
Yeah, for 2 extra points. Get 1 prediction for 2 extra points.
Can it be something that's announced?
If it's announced, it can only be something that's announced that doesn't have a date, and thus a date. So if you're going to be like, you can't be like, there's going to be a trailer for Resident Evil 4 remake because we know that's going to be a trailer. Okay, fine. I won't say trailer. Announcement.
Okay. I was about to say because I would imagine
Pengy would go cheap.
Hellblade will be shown because that's been shown the last 2, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So I can't say Hellblade. It hasn't been announced. Something new.
If you want to say Hellblade with a date, then that by all means.
No, I won't get a date. What about if I say 2023? No, I think it'll be 2023.
If you want to be that brave, go ahead.
I'll just do it. You put me on the spot there. I can't think of it. I'll just say Hellblade 2023.
Chris Pengelly.
We will get a Spider-Man 2 trailer.
With a date.
That's not you can
only say it if you say with a concrete date.
And they've already said 2023, so you can't just say 2023.
Concrete date.
With
not a window.
September 2023.
I love it, Pengy. So my prediction is very left field.
As I already said about like Death Stranding and stuff. Which I think that's the most obvious thing ever, because all Kojima's teasers and how Jeff loves Kojima,
So I'm torn between 2 decisions here. I either think that we are going to get Perfect Dark re-announced, or we're going to get the Initiatives game.
Well, they're doing Perfect Dark, aren't they?
They're doing another game, aren't they? I believe, aren't they doing 2 games?
Oh, I thought they were only doing Perfect Dark.
Then I'm going to say Perfect Dark gets re-announced. I don't believe it was announced with anything other than a teaser last time, correct?
It was that little bit of trailer, and I was like, oh, what's this? And it's like, there's Joanna Dark on the top of the building.
So it's going to get re-announced, and it will have at least 2023 on the trailer. Because we have heard nothing since. If you're going to push me for a date, I will say November 23.
I was going to say, the last we heard was like all the stuff that Crystal Dynamics has brought in, wasn't that?
Yeah. So I think it will be re-announced. I honestly think Xbox will announce 1 game. It's either going to be Fable or it's going to be Perfect Dark, I think. Or, and this is the third, so I'm going for Perfect Dark, Craig, write that down. The other left field thought I had was a Gears of War announcement to go with the TV show and basically do what Sony's done. I'd be like, we can do this shit too. Welcome to the Marcus Phoenix collection. But I think it will be Perfect Dark.
Solid. I think I can't see it, but I like the thought that day.
Got a dream in you. Got a dream. So that's our show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This week we'll be back with a more sort of regular show next week. I think it will be the PlayStation versus Series X 2-year chats. We will do that, and obviously at the end of the year we will do our own awards. But yeah, let us know what you think. Let us know what you think is going to win and what announcements you think could happen in the comments below. And we will see you next week.
Bye.